Hey, welcome inside the Hall of Fame right here on ESPN 97.5. I'm Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, fresh off the nuptials. But I tell you, man, I tell you, he's off the market. He's off the market for all the ladies out there. He just messed it up. For the whole show, he just messed it up. So I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thanks, Brad. I just want to say thank you for that right there. All the ladies who were tuning in to watch the show to perhaps think that they had a shot at Brad Gilmore one day. It's over. All right, we just lost all.
Look, there's nothing wrong with thanking. I appreciate
How you feel, man? How you feel coming off the weekend, man?
Yeah, I feel good. You know what I mean? I feel good. It's a big step, but a step that, I mean, Fair and I have been together for so long. It just felt like, okay, let's make it official in the eyes of the Lord and Jesus himself. And then we'll move on to the next chapter or whatever that may be after this. But it's great. You know what I mean? We had a nice little small ceremony, just the folks there, and got it rolling. You know, I'm the first. My dad has 4 children. I'm the youngest of his 4, and this is the first wedding he got to go to of any of his kids. You know, because everyone else like eloped or went to Vegas or whatever. Yeah. So that was a real special moment. You know, my dad just turned 77, so it's great for him to have that. You know.
Yeah, me and the Queen, we were at that Spence Ugas fight down in Dallas AT&T Stadium. And I must tell you, man, it was electric. I want to thank Tracy for hooking us up, making it all happen for me and the Queen. And I tell you, like I say, man, AT&T Stadium, they came out. The brothers and the sisters in Dallas, they came out to support the hometown boy, Errol Spence Jr. And I must say, man, I drank a little too much vodka and cranberry, but but it was worth it, man. I had such a great time, and what a night, what a fight. Errol Spence Jr. goes out and unified, man, the unified welterweight champion of the world, and then he's calling out Terrence Bud Crawford, man. Ooh. So, man, like I say, man, my weekend was awesome, man. And again, I just want to thank Tracy for making it all happen.
Always shout out to Big Tracy over there, because she always takes care of us big time, you know. And so I'm a big fan of Tracy out there. I think she left Dallas before you got there, though, right?
Yes, she did. Yeah, she took off before I got there. But I tell you, man, like I say, it's crazy because you know, I go to events all the time, but I was a little out of place as far as this one goes, and I called my cousin because I was like, man, you want to go to the fight? You know, and he was like, man, I've never been to a fight before. I'd love to. So his name's Steve, and like I say, he lives in Dallas, and he took me to the first club that I ever went to in Dallas. This brother by the name of Ugas, who was a famous DJ in Dallas. He took me to his club, and we rolled up to the club, and he pulled right up in the front, got out, boom, they took his car, and I'm like, man, my cousin there got some stroke, okay? You know what I mean? So I said, let me return the favor. And I invited him out, and I say, he met us at Chili's. And we're getting ready to head to the stadium, and I'm in Dallas. I'm in his hometown. I said, man, I'm going to follow you. And he said, all right, cool. So I'm following him to the stadium, right? And we get to the stadium, man. It's a line of cars so long. I mean, I'm like, what the hell? How we going to get in here, man? How is this going to play out? So my cousin, he put his hands out the window and give me the signal to follow him. He makes a U-turn, goes a couple of blocks, pull into this parking lot where he actually knew the owner of the parking lot, right? I'm like, no, wait a minute. We're at least a few blocks from the stadium, right? And I'm thinking about my queen because she got the pumps on. So I'm like, I know she ain't gonna want to make this walk. Next thing you know, a car comes up, boom, it picks us up, okay? Takes us to the stadium, drops us off right in front of the door, you know, and I'm like, damn it, Steve still got more stroke than I do. I'm serious. Got me in the stadium, got me to my seat, you know what I mean? Played, you know, my handler all night, made sure. I swear to God, man, big ups to my cousin Steve, man, for taking care of me down in Dallas, man, because I don't know what the hell I would have done without him being a part of that night, man. So big ups to my cousin.
Applause for Steve right there, the cousin Steve, always coming through. You know what I mean? That's a big stadium, too.
Still got more stroke than I do, man. Man, that stadium is huge, man. It's huge. And I just didn't realize it after just being in there, a couple of weeks ago, I was not thinking. I just was not thinking, but I was so glad that I had Steve with me because, man, I swear to God, man, he had to hook up. It seemed like, nothing had changed, man. Nothing had changed. Awesome.
Shout out to Steve, man. Yeah. Steve really coming through. So it was a weekend to be had by all. You know what I mean? I want to thank also my mom. I want to give a shout out to my mom for always being there for me. But that Spence and Crawford fight, or excuse me, that Spence and Ugas fight, man, I was just excited watching the highlights. I missed the live broadcast because, obviously I was preoccupied. But when I went and watched just the highlights of it, the energy in the building was electric. And we've been to several boxing fights together. Some of them have a bigger energy than others. That one felt like, another level. That felt like a big, big fight.
I was there, man. I can't wait to watch it on TV. I was there, and I was right in the middle of it. And I'm gonna tell you, it was electric. It was, like I said, you can cut it with a knife. That's how thick it was in there, as far as the people excitement goes. And Spence definitely went out and rose to the occasion. People definitely was wondering how that fight was going to play out, and I tell you, man, it played out exactly the way I thought it was going to play out. I said, Ugas, I felt like he wasn't going to be knocked out. I say he's going to have to be separated from his senses in order to lose this fight. And Errol Spence went out there from round 1 to round 10, and I swear, bro was like the Energizer Bunny. I remember when Aaron Pryor was fighting back in the day, and he's fighting Alexis Arguello, and he had got to a point in the fight, and his trainer says, "Give me the bottle," and the guy gave him the bottle, and he goes, "No, give me the one I mixed." And Aaron Pryor took a swig of that bottle, man. He went off on that Alexis Arguello knockout. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't know if Errol Spence had that bottle. But I'm gonna tell you, he was like the Energizer Bunny, man. This brother was he threw punches nonstop. He moved nonstop throughout that whole fight, man. And I really thought that was going to be the difference in that fight, with Ugas being a counterpuncher, always waiting to get that big shot in, always waiting to get that big shot in to land that shot, to actually put his, opponent in a certain position to where he's going to start thinking a whole lot. But Errol Spence never once got to that position, as well as Errol Spence is a guy who I said who do not mind taking a punch, a man who don't mind taking a punch, and he's deadly with both hands. That's a very, very dangerous individual. And I tell you, man, Ugas was in a storm that he just could not figure out which route was out, and it was a beautiful, beautiful night of pugilism as far as I'm concerned.
Let me ask you this, because it's a big hypothetical. Most likely we'll never see it happen because one of these guys had recently retired. But if this was the fight that we were supposed to see, was supposed to be Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao, right? That was the fight that everybody wanted to see. Two southpaws, old lion, young lion, legend in the making. So many great things, right? If we did get that fight, after seeing what you saw from Errol on Saturday, would Errol have come out the victor if he and Pacquiao went one-on-one? Or would Pac-Man have proved to be the dominant southpaw in the game?
Well, remember I said that that was a bad matchup for Manny Pacquiao just because Errol Spence is a southpaw.
Right.
He's not going to be out of his element taking on a guy like Manny Pacquiao. He's younger, he's faster, he's stronger. And I really felt like it would have been a really, really bad night for Manny Pacquiao. Now, I must say, your Dennis Ugas, his style played into Manny Pacquiao's, favor. I mean, not his favorite. It played right into his hands as far as fighting Manny Pacquiao, because he is a counterpuncher. He do throw big shots. He was so much bigger than Manny Pacquiao, and you could tell every time he landed a shot on Manny Pacquiao would move. Then he got Manny Pacquiao to a point. Like I said, after landing so many counter punches, he was able to move forward, and that's your Dennis Ugas' game. And I think there again, I think Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, it would have been a good fight, but I think it would have been I think Manny Pacquiao perhaps would have been stopped.
Okay. I was just curious. I was just curious what you thought because I saw a locked in Errol Spence Jr. And I don't think there are too many people in the world who can battle with that man if he comes out to fight like he did on Saturday night. So Manny Pacquiao, I don't think that we ever see that fight, but I do think we see Crawford and Spence, and that's a fight that I cannot wait for.
Hey, man, it's coming. It's coming. But we got to take a quick break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Dan Miller, and I'm trained to be a professional wrestler here at Reality of Wrestling. Professional wrestling has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. Growing up, I would have the toys, I would have matches with stuffed animals, I had a little paper championship. I always had that voice in the back of my head saying, can you do this? Can you really be a pro wrestler? And one day that voice got so loud, I just had to know. So I did my research, and I found that Reality of Wrestling is the best training ground in the whole country. You could sit down and turn on the TV every night of the week to watch pro wrestling, and you'll see someone who got their start in this ring. Reality of Wrestling teaches you everything you need to know about the business, from putting together the ring to putting together a TV show. This is a place where you can come and work on your fundamentals, work on your body, work on your interview skills. This is a one-stop shop for everything pro wrestling. If you have that voice in the back of your head, now is the time to find out if you have what it takes here at Reality of Wrestling.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I want to thank the Astros for sending me this swag, man. Season opener kicks off tonight. And good luck to the Astros. And let's go out there and win another World Series. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to get out on I'm ready for Big Papi one more time to step up on me this year, man. Because this year, if he stepped to me, something's bad is going to happen to little Papi. I can tell you that right now. I'm just saying.
He should have learned last year when we got them Red Sox all up out of there. You know what I mean? He should have learned last year. You know what? He didn't. Callie Tonio, real quick with the super chat. Off top, congratulations to the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Bo. By the way, nice pics. Love the black and white. Thank you. It wasn't like Alexa Bliss's wedding. Did you see any of those pictures from her wedding?
No, I didn't.
Oh my goodness. I mean, they had a bash, man. NSYNC was performing at her wedding.
Oh, yeah.
They did bye and everything with her. You know what I mean?
Alexa Bliss. Who's she married?
She married, I think his name is Ryan Cabrera. I think his name. He's a musician.
Yeah. I think I've heard about him.
Yeah. He's a musician. And they tied the knot. I think it was this last week or maybe the weekend before last. And it's interesting to even bring that up because I don't know did you see all that circling about Alexa Bliss today?
As far as her not being at WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, there's kind of a rumor mill going around that she's already seemed to dispel about her having frustration not being used on television, starting at WrestleMania and then I guess to current day. Now, she's already come on Twitter and it's kind of like disregarded that, saying that there's no truth to it. But I think it's an interesting topic, and I wanted to ask you, as somebody who has always been an important fixture on TV, since you and your brother came in as Harlem Heat, you've always been used in a prominent position, right? I mean, your first pay-per-view, you're in the main event in your hometown. Like, it doesn't happen to so many people. When there are, but as important as you've been, there are ups and downs through everyone's career, right? Sometimes you're working the main event, sometimes you're in the middle of the card, sometimes you're the show opener, even when you get a name like yours or Alexa Bliss's for that matter.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, how do you as a talent take that? Like when you're kind of, not being used as the main guy, you're somebody, in the middle, because it's just not your turn. How do you take it as a talent?
Me personally, we're just talking about me.
Yeah.
Have there been times in my career where I wasn't the focal point of the show? I tell the story all the time. Being tag team champion with my brother, so many times, and taking the tag team division to another level. After that, I was GI Bro, and I was in the locker room, actually in the bathroom, putting paint on my face. And Dallas Page, he walks by and he goes, "Bro," and I looked at him. He goes, "What are you doing?" Almost like you wasting your time here, man. What the hell are you doing? And I looked at him and I go, man, I'm just having some fun. Okay. And he goes, all right, bro. And he walks out. And that's just what I was doing, man. I was having fun. I was making a lot of money. And I'm sure Alexa Bliss, she's not hurting. I'm sure she's okay. As far as that goes. And sometimes to be able to take a step back, to not be the focal point of everything, it's actually it's refreshing. It feels good. You're still making money. You're still a part of the show. You're just not the main focus of it. You're not in the main event. And there again, man, being in the main event, being the champion is the hardest job you're ever going to have in the business. And if she's anything like me, I always felt like, man, my time's gonna come back around. You know what I mean? I'm talented. You know what I mean? I'm too talented to just be doing this forever. So my time gonna come back around. And I think the same thing about Alexa Bliss. You know, just think it seemed like a long time ago when Alexa Bliss was, the champ. And the only person that we were talking about was Alexa Bliss. And I'm sure that time was hectic. I'm sure being in that position for her was hectic. So to be able to take a step back, I don't know how she feels, but for me, I was always kind of glad when I was, in the background, watching everything go on. So there again, she could have a different take on it, but that's the way I felt about it.
And you know what? You're so right. And I think we talked about this once before on the show. I remember I don't know, this must have been a year or two ago. It was during the pandemic. I was like, I'm going to watch SmackDown from like the time I remember loving the show, right? And I turn on a SmackDown from like 06, and the opening segment, there's Booker T. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's Book. Look at Book, man. He's jacked. He's looking jacked. You know what I mean? There's Charmella, there's the Queen. I wonder who he's going to be in there with. It's going to be JBL. Is this Eddie Guerrero? Who is it Undertaker? And then out in the first segment of the show, it was you, Rene Dupree, Kenzo Suzuki, and Paul Burchill. And I said, what the hell is Booker doing with this cast of characters, right? But to the point of it coming back around is a few weeks before King of the Ring kicked off.
Yeah.
Right? And, it's just interesting how that can happen.
And then you see what happens.
Yeah. And then you see what happens when you give
it same thing. When I was G.I. Bro, when I left the Misfits in action, I became the world heavyweight champion. So that's the way. That's just the way things work. And if you're so focused on winning and losing, being in the main event, being the guy, you're gonna miss out on a whole lot that's going on. So I say for me, I love being in different positions at different times. It gave you a different reason to work, so many different reasons to work for in those positions. Like I say, mid-card guy, I'm cool. Opening show, I'm cool. Main event, I'm cool. The only thing I wasn't cool with was working Velocity or Superstars. And I never had to work any of those shows. I think that's when you should start getting worried or something like that. When you start getting put on back then, when
most of the shows were, it was the lesser talent,
like the syndicated shows, like I say, Heat, Velocity, Main Event, stuff like that. I never worked one of those shows, and it always made me feel like, of course I was going to be bouncing around, but hey, I was still a major player.
It's interesting you bring that up because there's another thing that was going around online about the Hardys, and the Hardys actually worked one of the AEW Dark tapings, and they were shown on AEW Dark. And a lot of fans were like, "Hey, the Hardys shouldn't be on AEW Dark. Like that's the show for the internet for like the lesser known people." I mean, this is what they were saying, But I mean, I don't know. And I saw Paul White work the episode of Dark recently. People were interested by that. I mean, do you think that that's a demotion? I mean, because AEW is a little bit different how they do things.
Hell yeah, it's a demotion. I know that's going to get picked up.
Sure.
But hell yeah, it's a demotion. I got some people around there working at the Thug Mansion and right here near my office, so you hear some banging. But no, man. Damn it, I'm not working on Dark. Okay. You want me? You don't want that? Of course, yes. For me, working on Dark, which is a show that's only on the internet, should be for the young guys coming up. I didn't come from the big show, no pun intended. Which I'm talking about WWE. I didn't come from WWE to come to AEW to work Dark. I don't even know what Dark is, and I don't know who's on it. I don't know when it's aired or anything like that. So for me to be on Dark would make me feel a certain way. Me personally, okay, yeah, it would.
Well, I mean, even the show name Dark, it comes from what? Like the dark matches, the matches that aren't televised, but they're taping them anyway. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it comes from. And then there's Dark and Dark Elevation. Now, Matt Hardy came out on Twitter and said, hey, Tony asked us to work it. We didn't mind doing it. Right. Now, somebody else chimed in and replied to Matt and said, yeah, but there was all this smoke for Jeff from WWE when he would work main event tapings, and then he works a Dark taping and nobody says anything. So I mean, there was a back and forth about it. But do you think that them saying that it's okay? I mean, they seem to be fine with it. I mean, what do you think?
You know what? The boss come to me. Let me redo this for a second. If Vince came to me and said, "Hey, Book, I need you to work a Velocity show for me. We need to bump the ratings up on that show, and we need some star power on it. Think you can do it?" What do you think I'm going to say?
Yeah,
I'm going to say yeah. But my boss, he respected me enough not to put me on those shows. He respected me enough as far as to keep my star power at a certain position. So he kept me, working around the main event guys. If I wasn't with the main event guys, I was somewhere doing something. Or if I wasn't working with the main event guys and I didn't have anything, just say for instance, that was interesting for the show, I wouldn't be on it.
Right.
And that right there for me, I didn't take that as a knock, me not being on the show. So yeah, I've been at WrestleMania and wasn't on WrestleMania, but they put me in the Battle Royal. Let me win the Battle Royal. And I'm like, did I actually really need that? Not really, but to get the extra check. All right, that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm serious. You know what I mean? So I looked at it a little differently than most. We gotta take a quick break, guys. A little chime just let me know we gotta take a break, man. We don't want to run it over our segments here, giving Brad a whole lot more work. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Booker T along with my man Brad Gilman. We're just talking about a little bit of what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment.
Yes.
We got any super chats, man?
We do. We have a couple right now. This comes from DJ 1491, who said, I'm excited for the Royal wedding tonight. R-Truth always brings a smile to my face, and his in-ring work is very underrated. Why doesn't he get his due?
I think why doesn't he get his due?
I think Truth does get his due.
You know what? That's the same thing I was going to say. I think if you ask R-Truth if he gets his due, he would say, "Hell yeah, I've gotten my due for the last 15 years, maybe."
Shoot, man, he's been this run in WWE. Yeah, probably since 2008 or something like that.
What I'm saying is, R-Truth, his run is not going to be like my run. His run is not going to be like The Rock's run or anything like that. But if you ask me if R-Truth has had a successful career in this business, I would say hell yeah. I mean, the guy has played his role, and he's played his role very, very well. And people can say whatever the hell they want to say about R-Truth, but me personally, I say this guy has parlayed his success for many, many years, and to stick around in that company and still be relevant in that company, you got to be doing something right. So I give R-Truth nothing but props and nothing but big praise.
Yeah, I think Truth first came into the company in like an 01, right? Before he left, he did some indies. He was in TNA for a while and then came back. But think about that. From 01 to 2022, it's a 21-year run on TV, right? And it's 21 years almost with the same company. And I can't remember a time where Truth was even off television for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's always back. And talk about getting his due. Man, remember that run that he and The Miz had together where they were causing all kinds of chaos? They were rocking John Cena and MSG in the main event of Survivor Series. And then, look, I know people kind of scoff at the 24/7 championship, and I get it to a large extent, right? But guess what? If it wasn't for the 24/7 title, and this is kind of off Truth for just a second, but if it wasn't for Truth, that title still we wouldn't be talking about it now. But also, the 24/7 title does give people an opportunity to get on TV. And guess what? If those guys and girls didn't have the 24/7 title, there's a chance that they might not just be sitting in catering or might not even have a ticket to come to the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a variety of everything. Sometimes you need something to break things up. And for this super chatter, just to say, the thing I'm looking forward to on Raw tonight isn't Cody Rhodes. It isn't Roman Reigns. I'm looking forward to the wedding of Akira Tozawa and Reggie and freaking Dana Brooke and Tamina. That's what you're looking forward to.
Wait a minute, because of
the 24/7 title.
Because of R-Truth.
R-Truth.
That's what he was. So yeah. R-Truth. Besides stealing all my damn moves, I love the guy.
Shout out to Truth. And you know what? Surefire Hall of Famer, first ballot. Won't even think twice about it.
Oh yeah.
And you know, he's got this great story of meeting Tupac. Have you ever heard that story?
I think I did. Yeah.
Such a great story, because there's a photo out there of him and Tupac together.
Yeah.
So dope. So dope. Callie Toenail says, we talk about guys stepping up. How does one do that if they have things written for you or your pitch ideas were shot down? What do you do then?
There again, man, a lot of stuff was written for me. You got to know how to take what they write for you and make it your own. And for me, it was pretty easy because it was hard for them to write for me. They could write stuff, but they couldn't write it for me. So I had to take what they write and make it my own. I would change a little bit here, change a little bit there, and then I would go out and do it in the ring. And if it sounded good, I always tell guys all the time, if you pass the smell test, it's okay with me. There's no wrong way of doing it, as long as it's done right. So for me, if you got guys that are willing to step outside the box a little bit and go out there and, just say, for instance, I had agents when I was coming up, at the latter part of my career, as well as the earlier part of my career. And some agents would tell me things that I knew should go in one ear and out the other.
Right.
But certain agents would tell me things that I would say, man, okay, I could use that. Now, that agent that told me something that went in one ear and out of the other ear, I still would have to pacify this guy and use reverse psychology. And, he said, man, why'd you do what I told you out there? I'm like, man, I forgot about it, man. But so I'll wait till the next week. And I go out there and implement what he had told me, but I'll do it my way. And then I tell him, hey man, I got that in for you tonight. And then he'll go, man, I saw it, man, it looked great. So now I'm making him feel good about himself. So then next thing you know, he go talk to somebody and say, hey man, this kid here, man, we might want to start using it. So you got to know how to work your way into the system. And sometimes it's going to be there again, you working the system in order to find your way in. It's not going to be easy, but more importantly than anything, if you don't have talent, trust me, they ain't going to be looking to move you up or put you in a position. Okay.
That's
just one of the guys, if you just one of the guys on the roster that's going out there and doing your matches and not thinking about, if the fans are bringing the signs, if the fans are cheering your name, what kind of pop you get when you walk out of that curtain. If you just thinking you're on the roster and things are going to happen for you, it's not. Now, there again, you could be a guy that's getting a pop and things don't happen for you. You got to be in the right place at the right time as far as this business go as well. So there is no, there's no easy way to look at it as far as I'm concerned.
But also stepping up, right? I mean, part of that's taking risks too, right? Something like you just said, not only taking what they give you, but if you feel strongly enough about something, taking a swing at it for yourself, right? I can think of a couple examples throughout time, but here's one. I won't say who the wrestler was, but in reality of wrestling, we had somebody who were kind of on sometimes, like, hey man, you need to do this, do this, do this. And one time you laid a match out for him. I want you to do this exactly. Now, this performer thought, hey, I don't like Book's idea. I have a better idea. Now, if that guy went out there and did his idea and nailed it, 100%, knocked it out of the park, you would have been like, what would you have said? Good job, right? Good job, kid.
I would have been a little hot about it, but I would have said, man, that was a damn good match.
That was a damn good
You know
match.
what I mean? I would have said, damn, you rocked it, man. You rocked it. I would have said also, man, if you could do it like that every time, I'm giving you the keys.
Exactly.
That's what I would have said.
Now, so happened this person went out there and they screwed it all up, right? I mean, they put in a terrible performance. I think self-admittedly, they do that. And we all knew, ooh, that is not what was said, beforehand, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't the goal, the ideal vision. So what happened? He got fired, right? Like, that's what happened.
Immediately.
On the spot, as soon as you came through the curtain,
exactly.
You're done.
Get your stuff, get the hell out of here. I never want to ever see you ever again.
And we haven't.
You got.
But I just want to say this. He had the cojones to go out and say, I'm going to do it because this is what I believe, right?
Yeah,
now, in that instance, he was wrong. But if he would have been right, boom, you look at him in a different light. And I think that's kind of what is meant by stepping up. Like, be willing to take risk if you think they're calculated and you think they're going to go out there and you can nail it. That's different, right?
It's a lot different. You know what I mean? I look at certain guys on the roster right now that you say, man, why haven't this guy stepped up? And why haven't this guy stepped up? And there again, I say trying to figure out the system is one thing. Knowing how to go out and perform and do that part of it, like for instance, I use guys like Ricochet all the time because he's one of the most talented performers that I've ever seen in the ring. But I see Ricochet now finally being comfortable with himself to go out there and know what it means to perform outside of the ring. Get the microphone in his hand, know how to try to make the fans feel a certain way. This is something that he's been working on since he came to WWE. Before he came to the WWE, only thing Ricochet had to do was go out and work. And the fans was in awe of what he would go out in the ring and do. And me personally, I get it. I understand that. But in the WWE, you have to have a well-rounded package in order to be one of those guys that the fans are going to gravitate to from a Stone Cold Steve Austin perspective.
Right.
And that means, only thing you got to do is walk out of the curtain and the people get their money's worth. So, and then when you have the ability to go out and perform at that level, that's just icing on the cake. So for me, I think a lot of these guys stepping up is just going to be not their in-ring performances that's going to get them to the next level. It's going to be what they do, just as well outside of the ring.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, if somebody does step up, like one of them is a guy like Daniel Bryan, right? Bryan Danielson. The plans weren't for him to be in the main event at WrestleMania.
Not at all.
But he was stepped up. Everything was firing all cylinders. The fans gravitated toward him. They got behind him. They believed in him. So the company had to take notice, and they changed plans because he stepped up and they could see it,
Not, you know what? The fans bought into Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
The yes chant. He created all of that. And that's what I'm talking about right there. When you go out and you figure it out, I don't think you have to do anything else. Everything else just falls in line. After that, you don't have to worry about the checks coming in the mailbox. The checks just come and they get bigger and bigger when you find yourself, thinking from those perspectives, not just going out there and wrestling. Daniel Bryan was in the WWE, not Bryan Danielson. Daniel Bryan was a well-rounded performer on all levels. So I say, if guys could tap into that, they'll figure out how to get to that next level. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it ain't hard. It ain't easy. It's very, very hard as far as breaking through that glass ceiling. Trust me. If anybody know, I think I know maybe a little bit about that. Guys, we got to take a break. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. See, we still got a few super chats, Brad.
Yeah, we have another one here from Lord Frieza. Book, you mentioned you love to fish. I'm always fishing, like in Texas City, Kima Galveston area. What do you normally fish for, and what's your favorite fish to eat from our waters? Redfish?
Oh, man, it would be the trout, speckled trout. I love good speckled trout fish dinner. But I love fishing most for bass, just because of the action. The bass fishing is a lot. I got maybe a 11-pound bass downstairs that I had. The taxidermy man fixed up for me. I caught in Florida at one of the lakes down there night fishing, and I had one of those lighted bobbers on my line, and actually I saw it bang, I saw it hit, and I swear, man, it was like a shark had hit it or something. That's the way the bass fish working. And I could actually see the lighted bobber coming right at me to the pier. And I reached in, boom, and I grabbed him and held him up. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. The biggest bass fish I ever caught in my life. Yeah, man, I love fishing just in general. I had a chance to do Chinook fishing in Canada, offshore fishing in the Virgin Islands as well. So yeah, man, I love taking those long fishing trips, those cool morning and those late summer breeze. Best times of my life.
Best times of your life. Yeah, I haven't been fishing in years, man. I mean, it seems like something that would be a nice thing to go out there and do.
Yeah.
We got another super chat here. AMG2 says, what's your opinion on Shotzi not getting TV time?
Man, what I say about Shotzi not getting TV time? Shotzi got cut from Tough Enough, because they didn't see a whole lot in her. Shotzi was the girl that said, I'm gonna go out here on the independent scene and I'm gonna prove to the WWE that I'm worthy to be a part of that locker room. And she did that.
Mhm.
Even with the gimmick that she had on the independents, she brought it to WWE. Okay. That's how notice she made herself to WWE as well as the wrestling world. Her not getting TV time right now, it doesn't say a whole lot to me at all. Let's just see how this thing play out
Yeah.
as far as Shotzi go, because I mean she's been in the business for a minute. Let's give her a chance to get her feet wet. Let's give her a chance to get to the main roster and actually show exactly what she can do. So I'm not too worried or concerned about Shotzi Blackheart, because I think at the end of the day she's gonna win, bro. She's gonna win. She's a worker, and she's not to be denied as far as this business goes.
Yeah, she's so great. I mean, I love Shotzi. Her work on the Indies is great. I think that she's been able to, and like you said, for her to bring the same character to WWE shows a lot to me what they see about her. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
we're speaking about TV and things like that. People always bring up ratings, and I just wanted to kind of get, I don't know, your thoughts on this, because AEW is obviously, and I want to start by saying this. AEW is does so many great things. I think they have a lot of great talent, a lot of great matches, great shows. I'm a fan. But I will say, we talk about numbers every week, and the ratings have to tell you something. There's been this last week on Rampage,
So
there was a big match, right? You had Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Title in a Texas Death Match, right?
Yeah.
Like, you cannot get a bigger main event for a free television show than two top guys, world title gimmick match. You also had Gun Club and the Black, what do they call the Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah. In a prime time slot as well. They moved their time to like 7 p.m. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so I did not know that. Well, that could actually have something to do with the numbers then.
I mean, or watching it earlier opposed to later.
Well, that would be right up against SmackDown.
You're right.
So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to look at that. I didn't know that it came on earlier this week. So that could be a fact.
If I'm correct, I think I was reading that. I didn't watch it, but I was reading that, and I think that's what it said.
But the show's viewership was down 20% pretty much across the board. In key demos, it's down between 12 and 15% from the previous week. It was number 4 in the ratings last week, and this week it was number 9, dropping down pretty severely in the key demo. Overall, it was ranked 76 in viewership for the night in cable. Friday night historically isn't a great night for any television show, let alone a 9:00 spot for wrestling. But do you think, let me ask you this, not about the product, but do you think that reflects on the interest in your top champion at all? Like, to me, when I see that, I don't care what time it's coming on. If it's Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a Texas Death Match for the WWE title, I'm watching it. I'm watching it live as it happens. That's going to draw me in if this is my main event storyline for a title on free TV in a gimmick match.
Yeah.
What do you think that this is saying, that maybe the fans aren't fully behind Adam Cole? I'm not asking you for your personal opinion on his run, but do you think that this is a reflection of how people are perceiving him? And is that a indicator or a factor in why the rating was so low?
I can't put all the weight on Adam Cole.
Adam Page. I'm sorry, I said Adam Cole. Adam Page.
Yeah, that's right. Adam Page. I don't think you can put all the weight on him or anything like that. Just because it's a show. They threw a whole lot. They put a whole lot on that show. They stacked that show. So I just can't look at it being, a lot of guys in the main event didn't, as we used to say, thanks for the house, brother. I think it's a little bit different for those guys. And then they're again having a show on Friday night. I don't know exactly what was going on Friday. Basketball might have been going on, of course. Friday Night SmackDown going on, of course. A lot of stuff is going on Friday night to compete with. But there again, it does reflect on AEW not drawing 500,000 viewers to watch the show on a Friday night. That says a whole lot. It's hard for me to speak to it as far as numbers go because I really don't know how much they're spending for the shows. They're producing every week. I don't know what the advertising dollars are or anything like that. But I do know I wouldn't let me say this. I don't think the network is jumping for joy or having parties about less than 500,000 people
Right.
watching the show. I think there has to be some kind of concern about that. But then again, we're a young company. The question is, do they think that they would have been a lot further in numbers 3 years in now or not? And if I was to talk to someone in that company, I think that they would have thought that they would have been a lot further along as far as numbers go with that company at this point in time. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that they got to build. Thinking about that, just think about this here for a second. That same television station, back in the 90s when, WCW was on it and people watching it, I'm sure the numbers was much, much higher than what they are right now. So you got to wonder what the station is wondering right now more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, and again, TV viewership is so fragmented nowadays. Like, I don't know if maybe 500,000 is a great number.
It
Maybe
might be.
I don't know.
Exactly my point.
I don't know either. But to me, it's not even so much like that. It's just, I don't know. I guess I was just wondering if because that's such a big drop off. But you might be right. I mean, if the time changed, that's something. If there's NBA on, that's always going to affect. Monday Night Raw always takes a dip whenever Monday Night Football is on. So I mean, it could happen, but as
well as AEW got their core audience, man. They got their core audience. It's not like they are, fighting to, grab that, young crowd like WWE has, grabbed over the years, because a lot of kids watch, WWE programming.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for AEW. I don't know if they're even trying to look for, it's more adult content more than anything. And I think that might be the difference as far as why people are watching it or aren't watching it, because I know if it's a death match on Wednesday night and it's going to be blood and gore in the ring and my kids got to go to school the next morning, me personally, I may not like that. And I know it's going to be somebody out there to go, well, what about the Attitude Era? Attitude Era was different. It was a different time then.
Different time in the world.
You know what I mean? So I cannot compare, the way it was then. I mean, you get canceled these days for doing some of the stuff we did on television back then. So you can't look at it to say, no, I'm serious.
It'd be a wrap on your career.
It would be a wrap.
It would be a wrap. Like
the way me, Finley, and Regal beat the hell out of John Cena on television. They can't do that today. We beat the hell out of that. It was a crime scene, So I think television is just different now. Like you say, 500,000. I don't know. That might be a good number.
That'd be great
for those guys. I don't know. But we got to take a break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. They always want something from you, and you're still willing to take it. But I remember when I was a boy, those long trips, those long fishing trips, some of the best times of my life. Those cool mornings and those late summer breeze. Come in. Guys.
You wanted to see us?
Yes. I did. I wanted to see you. I needed to ask a question to you, Hefe. You do great mechanic work.
Yes. Claro que sí.
Well, I need a vintage 90s model worked on. Perhaps some work under the hood, transmission problems.
Glad we can see.
Yes.
It can be done.
Yes. It can be done.
It can be done.
Now, it's time to reel in the big one. Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ. Every time I see that, man, I just start laughing.
It's great.
Stupid, man. It's just stupid. That's what it is, man. But that's what I do, man. That's what I do. Just try to create, have some fun at the same time, and keep smiling, man. Keep smiling, keep laughing, more so than anything, man. But what are we talking about, man?
Well, there's a few things actually I want to bring up, but just going off of that crime boss thing, I do have a TV rec for you and for everybody out there. We stayed up and we binged this thing called it's called The Thing About Pam, right? It's with Renee Zellweger.
Okay.
And she plays this one. It's a real true crime 6-episode series. She plays this woman named Pam Hupp. This is something that happened in Missouri. And this woman,
true story.
True story.
Okay.
This woman was insane. And like, I don't want to give too much away, but this isn't giving too much away because they say it like in the first 30 seconds. But she ends up killing her best friend in cold blood, stabbed her 57 times, right? 57 times. And this woman's husband went to prison for life for it. Right? Like the deceased's husband, they blamed it on him.
Yeah.
And it was a corrupt DA, corrupt judge, whatever. That's just kind of the 30,000-foot view, if you will, to use a phrase from you, of this show. Okay. But it's insane. And I thought we'd watch maybe an episode of it. We watched the entire thing last night, 6 episodes. We're up to 1:00 in the morning. Craziest story
I've
ever heard.
Sounds like
it only gets nuttier. Like every episode, you're like, wait, what? And then you go look it all up. I looked it up today. Nothing is exaggerated. Yeah. Everything is exactly as it is. And so that's one to watch. This is The Thing About Pam. Yeah, I see people in the comments are talking about it. Yeah, it's nuts.
Sound like one of my ex-girlfriends. No, I'm serious. I had an ex-girlfriend, man. She was her family was part of a cult back in the day. Her name was Dalia Dapolito, and it was crazy when I found out about the story of her father and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, she tried to kill me too. I forgot to tell you about that.
Well, okay, there's a little bit of a thing that we need to bring up.
Yeah, man, she tried to put like 6 shots at me one night, man. I don't know how I got away with it. But yeah, man, she was crazy, man. She was crazy. And same story. But
check that out. But also, the other thing is this: we've been talking about the XFL. The XFL is coming back 2023, right? We had the Houston Roughnecks in here. Was it 2020 season? 5-0 Roughnecks, right? But I forgot that the USFL was coming back.
Just kick it off.
It just kicked off, and I watched the game yesterday, and I didn't even know that the Gamblers were going to be on. And
really?
The Houston Gamblers won their season opener yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even know we had a team.
I didn't either. There's been I don't even think they play in Houston, but they're the Houston Gamblers. I don't know how the USFL works because there wasn't a single person in the whole audience. Literally, It was completely no one there. So I don't know if they were selling tickets to this game or not, but it was dope for me to see the Gamblers, and they're back with the same old school logo.
Look here, that ain't gonna last very long if no fans are in the audience. I don't know if it was a pandemic game or what, but they need some fans in the stands if it's gonna last more than a few months if people are going to watch it. People can't. It's hard to watch. You know, it's just like AEW. When you turn it on, just say for instance, it may not be as many people as you see on a WWE show, but it look like they're having a lot of fun. You know what I mean? So you want to tune in. I mean, it's a party going on here. So yeah. But there again, also when there's a lot of people there, you really want to be a part of it. Like that Spence fight this weekend, I was sitting there and I'm like, good God, man, all these people in here. I mean, it just felt good to be back. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Yeah, totally understandable. Hey,
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I was trying to look up something about the USFL to see if they were selling tickets or not. And this is the first headline, and this might show you where this season's going. The Pittsburgh coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers, Kirby Wilson, cut the running back, Devion Smith, because Devion Smith wanted pizza instead of a chicken salad at the team hotel. And he complained about it, and he got cut from the team.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they're serving pizza and catering, where they can get pizza, that's all they got is green salad. You know what I mean? Tomatoes, stuff like that. Hell, I'm leaving this team too. They used to say, oh, you know, like Soul Train back in the day. Nobody got paid. All they got was a bucket of Popeye's chicken. If you want to show up and dance. If you don't, bounce. We'll find somebody else. It's one of the type of deal. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's same in wrestling, right? I mean, when some of these guys get booked, I had a conversation with somebody at the gym the other night, a couple weeks ago, and they were saying, should they go to do this show or not? And I'm like, well, are you going to get paid, or are you just making the drive for a hot dog and a handshake, right? Because sometimes that's the pay at some of these places, right? A hot dog and a handshake. So this man didn't want chicken salad, though. This brother wanted some pizza. And they said, we don't got it in the budget. We got to cut you.
Hey, man, look here, dog. Look here. That's just the way. I would have got up out of there too, though, dog. If I can't get no pizza, and those guys ain't get paid a whole lot of money in the USFL. They get paid. They're getting paid minimum wage. Those guys, like Odin Lloyd, the guy that lost his life with the Aaron Hernandez situation. Just listen to him talk and some of his buddies talk. They was talking about they just do that for the love of the game, and they wish that they could actually, make it on that gridiron, in the NFL one day. Perhaps it's not going to happen, but they still don't want to lose that dream, and they just do it for the love, not the money. You know what I mean? So those guys in the USFL, a lot of those guys, most of those guys are just wishing somebody see him and say, hey man, let's try to bring this guy up, give him a tryout. Hopefully he can, make the team. But most of them don't. But the love of the game, man, is strong, man. It's still there.
It says if your team goes undefeated and wins the championship game and you remain on the active roster for the entirety of the season with the USFL, you will earn $70,000. Your base salary is $4,500 per game in a 10-game season, so you can make upwards of $45,000. You get $850 win bonuses. So I mean, it's not life-changing money by any stretch.
You know how much pain is involved with that?
About $70,000 worth.
you hit it right on the head. You know what I'm saying? So there again, these guys playing for free and rent money, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So big ups to those guys out there doing that XFL thing. Hey man, on another note, what do you think about Cody Rhodes' comments as far as what held him back? What he think held him back in AEW?
He talked about being boxed in because of the title picture, and also being management in a management position. I think it's right, because Cody, when AEW started, was one of the preeminent stars as a singles, right? You had Cody, you had Jericho, you had Kenny. Those were their top three guys. And then Moxley came in, and those are kind of the four, right? You almost immediately took Cody Or you did, because Jericho, after he won the title, the first program he had was with Cody Rhodes, and if Cody Rhodes lost, he could never challenge for the world title again. You took away one of your main stars from being world champion, and there's only so far you can elevate in the fans and maybe even the office's mind if you aren't or can't be booked in a world title situation. I think it was a bad call. Bad call. And Cody was real big on sticking to it because he's like, hey, we always have these matches. If there's a stipulation and we don't hold to it, what do they mean? And I like that he thought that way, but it was to his own detriment. And I think he recognizes that now.
I don't know. It just goes to, I don't know. I know a little bit about this stuff, seem like, but I've said it many, many times. You cannot be in the game and still be able to oversee everything that's going on properly. It's just no way. You can't think outside the box when you're the guy that's in the box that you may have to think for. You know what I mean? And then you got all these other players that's around that may not look at it the same way as I do. They may not like the ideas, that I'm coming up with. And there again, I'm the boss, and I'm a worker on the show. Like Sonya Deville, sometimes she's got the jacket on, sometimes she's got the jacket off. It doesn't work out, for me. And I think Cody being in that position where he had to make decisions and then go out there and work, make decisions for other guys, go out there and work. The focus there definitely could not be on, trying to be, like he said, the greatest wrestler in the world. And I think that right there is something that's very important to Cody. And that's metaphorically speaking, guys, being the best wrestler in the world. I know we've heard it from a lot of guys, but most wrestlers think that they are the best wrestler in the world, so.
Or at least top five.
At least top five. That's what I thought. I never said I was the best wrestler in the world. I just said top five. That could have been one, but I just didn't want to put myself in that position. I'll put that label on myself. But the guys in the business that work at the top level, if they do not think that they are the best wrestler in the world, they're in the wrong line of work. So definitely, I think Cody being able to realize that, understand it, out of the maturity to say, man, this is not working for me right now at this age. I need to, like he said, I think I may need to be a little bit older to want to handle those responsibilities. And I give him a lot of props for that, man, because a lot of guys would never be able to admit that, I wasn't ready for that. I give him big props for that.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, hindsight is 2020, but also to have the wherewithal to know, hey, man, that was a misstep. And I think he said he never wants to be in a management position ever again, really. I mean, I think I said that maybe in his 40s it would have been a better thing for him. But Cody Rhodes right now needs to stay away from the office and, just focus on what he's doing because he's doing great work.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I know we got to take a break, right?
You got to take a break.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
A little bit. But I think the match that everyone kind of saw me at my, I got the right exposure, I guess, is when I faced Ricochet in Japan for the Best of Super Juniors. And I think a lot of people saw that match and was like, all right, well, this is what Will does. He's a flippy guy. But I saw the constructive criticism that everyone would say, and I would go, hang on, no, they've got a point. They have got a point. We could have done some stuff different. We could have done this, that, and that different. And then I got in the ring with a guy called Shibata. And in New Japan, like, he was like top, like, do you know what I mean? He's like he was one of the new generation Three Musketeers. And I would be like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And he looked me dead in the eyes. Like, he just looks at me, he goes, no. Oh, mate, I'm so scared. And he didn't, honestly, he didn't tell me a single thing of what we were going to do until I got in the ring. Yeah. And I was so scared.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, I just want to let people know, man, they need to keep my effing name out of their mouth. All right. In the words of Will Smith. Because I was trending this week. And the thing is, I had nothing to do with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Rolly Romero is getting ready to take on Tank Davis coming up here in a few weeks. And I'm a big fan of Javante Tank Davis. I was there when he knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. I was cheering for him. I'm like, man, this is my boy right here, man. And I heard him, make a comment to the trainer of Rolly Romero, and he called him, Booker T, and I'm like, okay, I wake up and I look at this, scrolling. I'm like, why is my name coming up, with these, why do these young guys even still know who I am? I must have made a mark in their lives somewhere along the way. And that's cool. But I think Tank Davis, I'm not gonna jump on him too bad, because I really think he wanted to say wannabe Booker T. That's
Right.
That's where I think he was going. So I ain't gonna jump on him too hard, because I'm a heavyweight. You know what I mean? A super heavyweight.
That's right.
That can still throw hands a little bit. I'm looking forward to the fight coming up. Rolly Romero, Tank Davis. I think it's going to be May 28th or something like that. And I am looking forward to being there live in living color. There's been a lot of talk between these two young men. Rolly Romero definitely is a force to be reckoned with, because you got punching power. Any man that's got punching power, that's willing to step between those ropes, man, big props. But I will be picking Tank Davis by knockout in the 7th round of that fight. So yeah, man. But next time you mention me, bro, make sure you put some respect on my name. Okay, I'm just saying.
I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I had the same thing, and you even text me, because I was looking. I'm like, why is it? What did Booker say now? You know what I mean? Because I was like, it must not have been on our show, or I would have known. You know what I mean? So I was like, did he do someone else's show? Because I know he listens to all kinds of stuff, and sometimes you just call into random shows, Book.
Yeah, all the time.
I saw that you were going off on the FTR the other day.
Hey man, look here, bro. You get in my way, I'm like Ernie Ladd. I'm big enough to step on some toes and keep on walking, Jack. Okay, so my thing is, I'm very confrontational. You know what I'm saying? FTR, those guys. You know what? I'm gonna see if I can get the FTR on the show.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna see if I can get the FTR on the show so we can hash this thing out, because like I said, Cash, I'm cool with him. Dax, if he want to, step in the ring with me. The thing is, let me take a moment here. Let me take a moment.
Take a moment.
Let me take a moment. The FTR versus the Young Bucks a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Boys rocked it.
Yeah,
they rocked it. They went out there and did some stuff that was spectacular, extraordinary. A lot of bumping going on. But I just want to let you know, in a match with me, none of that will happen. Okay? It's going to be ground and pound, baby. I ain't going to be flying, jumping off nothing. Okay? So I just want to let you know the match, I'm giving you your props. Right here inside the Hall of Fame. ESPN 97.5. This is the big time. I'm giving you props. But I'm just letting you know, if you and I was to ever step inside the square circle, bro, it's gonna be fist of fire. That's all it's gonna be. It's just gonna be fist on fire, and the better man's gonna come out on top. And remember, dog, like I just said to Tank Davis, I'm a heavyweight.
Hey, you know what? Look, I'm gonna give all the props in the world to FTR. They've been putting on a series of just phenomenal tag team matches, right? And these aren't two guys, they could have stayed in WWE. and made a lot of money, but they didn't want to be pin me and pay me guys, right? They wanted to go out there. They wanted to make a name for themselves as a dominant tag team in AEW, in Ring of Honor, in AAA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would like to see it. I would like to see especially you and Dax. You know what I mean? I think that even if it's not a wrestling match, I think Texas City street fight. You know what I mean? Texas walk and brawl. You know what I mean? Let's just tear it up.
Well, I'm in the gym every day.
He's been talking mad disrespectful. He said that Vince is your daddy. You got to answer to Vince.
Well, you know what? If you're paying me $750,000 a year, I'm gonna come to the office when you call me. Okay, you know what I mean? Well, that's my job. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with, what he said about me and Vince McMahon and him being my daddy and all that stuff. Vince is my boss. I work for the company, and I'm proud. And I must say, I'm proud to say that. But as far as me being a man and being able to step up and represent everything that I believe in, 100%, 110%. Yeah, I'm all for that. As far as being able to take care of myself, look here, I could have a match. I can have you know what? I just was looking at earlier today, Ric Flair, he just posted some stuff, him and Jay Lethal in the ring, bouncing around, hitting the ropes. Ric Flair took a slam, headlock takeover. This guy got a pacemaker in his chest. You don't think I can go? You don't think I can go? And I'm in the gym every day. I'm training, still like I did when I was a boy. You know what I mean? but I ain't calling nobody out or anything like that. But when it comes to protecting myself, I'm ready, willing, and able to do it when anybody call on me to do so. So that's my thing. That's my take.
Okay. We'll see what happens with that.
We'll get him on the show. I'm gonna get him on the show.
Let's get him on the show.
Because I like to, me personally, I like to look a man in his eye, when I'm talking to him. Even if we got to do it on Zoom, okay? We got to do it on StreamYard, okay? Whatever it may be. But I like to look at a man in his eye. I don't like to hear it second hand, third hand, anything like that. I like to talk one-on-one. So we're gonna get FTR on the show inside the Hall of Fame right here on ESPN 97.5. How about that?
I like it. Let's do it. I'm ready to see if they're gonna talk that talk
big
in front of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Because it's easy, just like everybody on the internet. You know what I mean? You got they got the Twitter fingers. You know what I mean? They can punch in all kind of stuff. You know what I mean? They're anonymous. Nobody can see them. Nobody know who they are. You know what I mean? But when you talking to a man right in his face, a man that's 248 pounds of romping, stomping, grave digging destruction. I know that's an old term, but it still works. You know what I mean? Nothing but power. You know what I mean? I ain't got a whole lot of speed, but I still got power. And sometimes
you got that nightlight on the blick. You know what I mean?
Nightlight on a blick. You know what I mean? And we'll do something to you, man. I'm talking about put some of that Cholula green all on your ass. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. You better put up or shut up. We gotta get rid. I'm getting some of that Cholula green in a minute too.
Yeah, Cholula hits.
It's good. But
great.
We got to get ready to get out of here, man.
We do. I wanted to ask you one final thing, real quick, before we wrap up. One final thing. It's about you've gone by Booker T, you've gone by King Booker, you've gone by General Manager Booker, you've gone by Cole, or are you Kane? I can never remember. You couldn't remember either, right?
Oh, it's Cole.
You're Cole. You're a GI Bro. Names change, right? Austin Theory's name changed last week on Monday Night Raw. He's just Theory now, right? He dropped the Austin, just Theory. What do you think about a name change like that? Help, hurt, makes it easier? We've seen it a lot, but I just kind of want to know what you think about it.
Well, just think about it for a second. The way he did it, it was kind of smooth. All right, he said, me and Mr. McMahon, Mr. McMahon thinks, the Austin thing just not working for me. Which we got Steve Austin coming back, you know, and then you got Austin Theory, you know, it's a mix up there a little bit. I don't see anything wrong with it. Just calling them Theory. You know, I mean, I like Austin Theory though as well. But I do understand why we don't want to have two people walking around, you know, with the same name. Even though Steve Austin is not going to be around on a regular basis or anything like that, I get it. I understand it. Was it something? Is it something that I would have done as far as, you know, change the name? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. Perhaps it's one of those things. But I don't think it's going to hurt that guy at all because Austin's talent. Just watching what he does on a weekly basis is, for me, I'm watching a young kid who understands the game. It's not very many understand the game, and people can say what they want to say. They may not even think I know what I'm talking about. But when I watch Austin Theory, when I watch Theory now, go out and do his thing, he's learning the ropes. He's trying to figure this thing out. He's trying to figure out, how do I get to that top position and stay there? And let's just look back, guys that played their role. You said Triple H, first person he did a job for at WrestleMania was who?
The Ultimate Warrior.
And he did it quick. He knew his role. You know what I mean? John Cena, a guy who, came up, he putting guys over, but figured it out, learned how to play his role. Now Theory is another guy that's in that same position, that's trying to figure it out. Got to beat me. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I'm going to be the guy at the end of the day that wins. That's what I see in someone like Theory.
Well, I'll say this real quickly because I know we have to wrap up. But if that is the reason, because there's a Steve Austin and an Austin Theory, then when Gable Steveson joins the Raw roster, Chad Gable is just going to be known as Chad.
You damn right. You damn right. Immediately. That's just part of it. It's just part of the game, man. It's just part of the game. Take that super chat real quick.
John Amazing just said, why Booker talking like he's some type of goon with the nightlight on the blick? All right.
Look here, I'm a gangster, man. I'm a gangster. You know what I mean? I will roll up on you. I will send them boys to your doorstep. I'm just playing. I ain't doing nothing. Hey, man, we got to get out of here. Nice like on the blick style. Bradley, I appreciate you. All you guys in the chat. We love you, man. But right now, peace. We out.
Can you dig it, you sucker?